good, YouTube? What's good, traders? It is your boy Go to Trades, and I'm back with a Straw Hat Trading channel, and we got a lot going on for the week ahead. This week is going to be pretty jam-packed. We have NVDA earnings are going to basically move the whole market. So it's a lot to unpack, a lot to go over. So let's kind of make this quick. We had a kind of a 3-day weekend. I enjoyed mine. I hope you guys enjoyed yours. Yeah, I know this is a late video on Monday, but guess what? Better late than never. Anyways, so last week we had a pretty decent, I should say, performance in the stock market. I mean, in our trading Discord group, we've went crazy. I think every single day we've made like spectacular gains every single day of that week. No one had a red day this week. Honestly, I don't think anyone had a red day this month. So we've been actually killing it, guys. Like we've been the Straw Hat Trading channel. We've been actually killing it. If you guys go back and listen to my analysis every week, my analysis has been super duper accurate. It's kind of scary. I always go back and rewatch my analysis just so I can make sure that I'm giving you guys the most like accurate content that I possibly can. I don't say anything that I don't believe in myself. So I won't say anything and be like, I'll tell you guys like this is a pretty good trade and I don't take the trade. So yeah, I've been going crazy. My group been going crazy and we just trying to continue the momentum. Anyways, this week we have a pretty decent week. A lot of green, as we can see within the market. We're starting to see broad participation within the market. The only pockets of red really come from the tech sectors, and that's to be expected because NVIDIA is reporting this week. So I'd expect to see some volatility. Plus, again, last week I did say we were in major resistances across the board, especially for tech, and I expected to see a sell-off. So I knew it was going to be like a mild sell-off into like buyers, and I can confirm that buyers did step in after every single sell-off. I wonder why. Before we start talking about charts and what looks good and what looks bad, we got to go over the earnings. So we got some major earnings coming up. We got Walmart, Home Depot. That's going to be on the open of Tuesday. It's going to be pretty interesting. And on Wednesday, we have before opening, I want to look at analog devices, which if you guys don't know, I'm a computer engineer. Analog devices have to do with microcontrollers. I don't know this company. However, I do know microcontrollers and microchips, and I know that is the buzzword. So I've never seen this company before, but I want to have this company on my radar because if they beat, I'm sure it will seep into the market within the chip industry. And yeah, that's what I'm watching for. NVIDIA, of course, we have NVIDIA earnings after close on Wednesday. It's going to be pretty anticipated, and everything else is everything else. I don't care. Unless you guys like Square. I like Square. I like Carvana. But yeah, I don't really care. Anyways, we also have our market watch. We don't have that much data coming out this week. However, we do have Fed minutes from the FOMC meeting from January. So that's going to be at 2 p.m. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with that. I'm sure there's going to be some volatility, especially with the dollar and yields. You have initial jobless claims on Thursday that might move the market pre-market. And maybe everything else might do something, but for the most part, I'm watching initial jobs claims and I'm watching Fed minutes. I want to see how the dollar and yields react, okay? Like I said in the last video, right? The dollar looks like it wants to break down. You are in this major, let me zoom out. You are in this major downtrend. This is a descending triangle. You are in a major descending triangle. And this usually ends off very bearish. However, before we actually break down on the dollar, we have to look at the smaller time frame. In the smaller time frame, we are in this rising wedge, and we've been following this rising wedge since the end of December. Now, we are coming to the end of this rising wedge, and you can see that we are in the end because obviously we're at the end of the wedge while we are in this descending triangle resistance. Not only that, we also ended off these last 2 weeks with upper wicks, with large upper wicks. Like these are huge upper wicks. That's just very weakness, like sign of weakness. So not only do we have these two resistance areas that we're in on the dollar on the weekly chart, but we also have these two upper wicks. Not only that, but we are basing outside of, that was a very ugly circle I was trying to draw. We are basically basing outside of this wedge right here, right? So basically with a rising wedge pattern, when you break out of rising wedge, this is where you would want to start your position into shorts, right? So, and your stop loss will be obviously if you break back in. So that's what I'm watching. If the dollar actually breaks down, I believe that markets are going to go up, right? So if the dollar breaks down here, I believe markets will go up, and this move up will be super, right? If you guys remember what happened in 2023, July, we had some type of action like this where the dollar broke down. Let me see if I can find it real fast. I showed you guys in the last video, right? So we had some type of action like that. I believe it was right here. Yeah. So we had some type of action like that when we had the dollar breaking down, right? When the dollar broke down in July and had these large body wicks just breaking down, once we found major support, this is when we got to sell off, right? So that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for a major sell on the dollar into a major support. So if we find a major support, this is where I'm selling all of my calls and all that good stuff on the market. I believe that's when we'll be topped out on indexes. So major support should lie around 102.9 or 103, around there, like from 102.9 to 103.5. If we find major support there, I do believe that we're going to sell off in the market. But if we break down on the dollar, we're gonna have a euphoria run. It's gonna be amazing, right? And remember, we do have NVDA earnings. I don't see how NVIDIA doesn't beat. I mean, you have every single company under the sun beating, and all these companies that beat buy from NVIDIA. So I don't see how NVIDIA doesn't beat. I can bet my lunch money that NVIDIA beats, but it all comes down to price action. So I'm watching the dollar very, very heavily to see what happens. Same thing for yields. Yields look really bullish. You are getting some type of weakness here at 4.3%. However, if you do mount 4.3%, I believe you have room all the way up to 4.4. Again, if you do break down on yields, the same thing. You have a major support level here, and you have a minor one right here too. So I do believe that wherever you do sell on yields or DXY, if you do break down, just be very, 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 very vigilant, because once you find support, I believe that's where you'll find weakness in the market. So that's what I'm watching for. Now with indexes look pretty good in my opinion. Now, most notably, I believe that out of the four indexes, the Dow Jones, RTY, and ES look amazing. NQ looks a little bit weak. However, even though NQ looks a little bit weak, it is not bearish, and not by a long shot. You are in a rising wedge, which is a bearish formation. If you break out of the wedge, you haven't broke out the wedge. Actually, you've been honoring this trend line for this whole run since October. You've been honoring this trend line. So why are you going against it? Until you break this trend line, there's no reason to be trying to go against and trying to short. So right now, we are respecting it. And if we actually do end up finding buyers, as long as you break above and you stay above 17.79, you are bullish. Point blank, period. Okay, there's actually a template that I follow, and it's inside of my Discord group. You guys can join, but I'll also put it in this video so you can see. But let me show you right now, actually. So here we have our NQ level. So at this point, you are bullish as long as you stay above 17.791, and you're targeting 19K. Okay, and you are in a yellow light territory, which means, again, if you guys ever drive, you have a green light when it means go. Yellow light means obviously you keep moving, but you have your foot on the brakes. So like, obviously, if you are below the 17,791 level, but you're above 1747, then you're okay. But if you do break down below 1747, 17.5, you break below that, then the trend is starting to turn, and you should be careful. That's when you should be trying to. If you are going long in this market, you should be selling, and just take your loss. But I do believe that if you do find buyers in this market, this euphoric run will bring you all the way. Let's see. Maybe this week it might bring you all the way. I'm sorry, my dog is in the background and I'm not going to edit it out. So this week you can see buyers to bring you up around 18.5. If you do find buyers around 18.5 to about 18.7. So that is what I'm watching for if we do find strength in the market. However, if you do break down, obviously, there's the template that I just gave you guys. ES looks a lot more bullish, in my opinion. This is a pretty good weekly close this week right here. This week is just starting like right now, so it doesn't count. But you do have a nice weekly close. You are sitting on support right now. In my opinion, this is a buy on ES and on the SPY. A lot of people in the market. I've been watching YouTube. I don't even watch other people's channels, but I was looking and everyone's pretty bearish right now, and I see why. I mean, even in this, you hit extremes. Like, you should be going down. You hit extremes, but usually, how this thing works when you hit extremes, just because you hit extremes doesn't mean you automatically sell right away. And even if you see how we hit extremes on the lower end of the spectrum, we broke down, and we had a failed breakdown and rally back up, right? So we are extended. So if we're in a range bound market, we should be extended on our extreme levels as well. So if we are extended, then I expect ES to hit around 5150 to about 5200. So if that's the case, then that is what I'm looking for. About 5200, 5160. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for this week or next week. But I do believe that we are in the end of a cycle, and the party is going to be over soon. So this is me personally. This is just my last hurrah. I'm going to make some money off this upside potentially. If we do get this upside, it's gonna be my last hurrah. I'm not holding. I'm not holding these positions long term. I have one position that I'm probably gonna hold long term, and that's Adobe, and I'll go over that. But everything else, I believe that we're gonna have a pullback very soon. Briefly, I do want to go over RTY. RTY looks like it is starting to have a longer term trend line here. And even if I extend this trend line, if I extend it a little bit more, kind of extends kind of like this. So you could technically we could say that we've been following this trend since October. So I do like RTY here. If we get back into the support zone, at this point it's just price action. I'll be playing price action. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be going long on anything, but I will be doing swings and day trades, just playing price action. As long as we get into this support zone, I'm a buyer. I'll just buy, just keep buying until we get into major resistances like this 2100 level. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm watching. I like coin, SMCI, and just different small cap, mid cap names if I were to play RTY. Next, let's go over tech. I like tech a lot. Tech is bullish. Point blank period. I think tech is super duper bullish, right? Now I have the daily chart propped up on this large left chart right here. If you guys don't know, this chart I use as like kind of like an ETF, right? This is Tesla, Netflix, Apple, and NVDA, Amazon, Microsoft, blah blah blah, all these stocks right here, right? I like to group them into like an ETF so that I could see how big tech is doing, right? So big tech looks very bullish, right? you're really just like consolidating on, like, after hitting resistances here. You're consolidating. You're about to hit support. Ironically, you hit support when? On Wednesday, right? This is to assume that you don't, like, if you go sideways for the next 2 days. If you go sideways for the next 2 days, you hit support on Wednesday, right? Literally you hit support on Wednesday. What earnings on Wednesday? NVDA, right? Okay. So you hit support, and what do? It's an uptrend, so we buy on support, right? Okay. Next, we got XOK. XOK, you held the support. You look really good. You're just mounting. You're mounting previous highs. You're making higher highs and higher lows. You look super bullish. Now, same thing with QQQ. QQQ resembles the Big 8, or whatever you want to call it, big tech chart, right? It looks just like it. Where you consolidated, you made all-time highs. You came back down into support. You consolidate on support, and now you look like you're gonna have like a springy motion, like where we do something like this, right? Where we consolidate, hit support, and we go up, just like that, right? So that's what I'm looking for. You're literally on support, looking like buyers are trying to step in. So if buyers actually succeed, I believe you have room on QQQ all the way up to 450. That's just my opinion. I believe that we're going to go to 450. So tech looks super bullish, right? With earnings around the corner in a couple days and tech looking this bullish, I don't see how people are going short. I don't understand. I just don't see it. This looks super bullish in my opinion. Now, the chip market. I can understand why the chip market might have a little bit of people spooked, right? So, chips do look kind of mixed, right? XSD doesn't look that bad. You're consolidating. You hit all-time highs and you consolidate all the way to support, and now you're making highs. You're making higher lows and higher highs as you're on support. That's very bullish. So you look very bullish on XSD. On SOXX, you look very bullish as well. If I zoom in on the daily chart, you're doing the same pattern that I talk about, right? Where you hit resistance and you go sideways until you hit support, right? Now, ironically, guys, you hit support. If you were to consolidate, you hit support around Wednesday to Monday, around there, if you just go sideways. However, if you do get a sell within these next 2 weeks, you do have some type of room to like 622, very close to support. You're literally very, very close to support. When like on Wednesday, so I don't see how bearish you could be. Now SMH does look kind of bearish in my opinion, right? So you hit all-time highs on SMH in this extreme zone, and you do look like you want to come back down and retest previous highs, which you already have done before. Right? You've done it, but now you find buyers and you find weakness again. So it looks like you want to retest again to validate the move. So this could be a double bottom opportunity. If you do see weakness on tomorrow, I'd expect buyers to bid you up at 195, right? So if you find sellers on Tuesday and or Wednesday, watch this 195.86 level, this 196 level, because guess what? Guess where it lies, right? Again, if you were to go down and hit support on Wednesday, which is when the NVDA earnings is, guess where you hit? You hit 195.8 on my chart. So I just don't understand how bearish you could get on this market. I believe NVIDIA, this is why I believe NVIDIA is going to crush, right? So again, I'm giving you guys the sauce. If you see selling on SMH and it gets to this level, this 196 level, buy. In my opinion, I am not a financial advisor. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to buy. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. But let's look at NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA's chart looks very bullish. It looked like SMH, but with that last close on Friday, it kind of doesn't look like SMH anymore. It kind of resembles SOXX, which is way more bullish, which is way more bullish than SMH, right? So they look very similar, where they hit all-time highs, they come back down into support, they find buyers, they sell back down, and they're like kind of going sideways until it hits support again. And that support is on Wednesday, right? Look at NVDA, right? NVDA hits support here. Let me erase this. NVDA hits support on this blue line, right? So assuming you go sideways until Wednesday, right? Assuming you go sideways until Wednesday, you look like you are going to spring into action from 726 to 735. That's a buy on NVIDIA, in my opinion, because you're sitting on support while making an ascending triangle. Look, this is an ascending triangle. If you were to zoom in on the hourly chart, look at this clean ascending triangle you are making. Look at this. This is a clean ascending triangle. You keep on finding buyers and sellers get weaker and weaker, and guess what? You break out. Now, my fib levels say we are going to 790. We have an implied move to about 800. So I am personally in NVIDIA calls, and I'm holding it throughout earnings. If I lose, I lose, and I'm pretty heavy. But if I lose, I lose. But I'm trying to play these earnings, right? I'm trying to use really logic, right? They're going to say it's gambling. I don't think it's gambling. I think it's logic. I think it's an informed decision. If you have major companies crushing earnings, right? The same companies that's using NVIDIA chips, right? The same customers of NVIDIA are crushing earnings. What makes you think that NVIDIA does not crush earnings? Now, obviously, they might not. If they don't, I mean, anything can happen. And that's just what the stock market is. Anything can happen in the stock market. But I feel like when opportunity comes and knocking on your door, it's good to try. And this looks really good, technically speaking. This is a very bullish chart. If I didn't know they had earnings, I would be a buyer on Friday. I would have loaded up maybe 20 contracts of NVIDIA calls right here if I didn't know that there were earnings. You know what I'm saying? Like, this looks really good. Now, that's what I'm watching. That's really all I'm really watching next week. I do have some other swing plays that I like. I like QQQ a lot. I do believe here QQQ is a pretty good buy zone. Even if I draw a quick trend line, I have a chart with the trend line. You guys seen it. But even if you draw a quick trend line, you are on support. You look really good. You look like you're gonna test 450. I like QQQ a lot here. Coin. I played coin this week. I made a couple grand off of coin. Pretty easy trade. I think I talked about it last video. I'm not too sure. But one thing I like about coin, it's forming a cup and handle. So you already got your cup. So right now I'm looking for a back test. I already told you guys that I expect RTY to have a kind of a pullback. And this is when we actually hit that support on RTY. This is when I expect to buy coin. So I like coin maybe on this gap fill at 173. If we could get a gap fill over here at 173, I'm a buyer. And I will be playing it long to about 236. I like it a lot. I really do like coin. And yeah, that's probably going to be a really good play. Another play that I got into right now, I'm down pretty heavily, maybe about 30%. I got into Adobe. I caught the falling knife. It's a falling knife. Right now it is technically breaking down. But I still do like this chart a lot. I do see us having some type of support at 530 around there. If we break below 530, 522, then I will cut my position. I got very dated Adobe calls. I like Adobe. If we do find some buyers this week, I do like Adobe to retest highs at 633 and possibly to make it all like to all-time highs at 700. So I am playing Adobe here. Very risky, but I do like Adobe a lot. It made me a lot of money last year. Hopefully we could repeat. And I think that's about it, what I'm looking for. But I do like NVIDIA a lot. I think NVIDIA is going to have a very good earnings this week. I believe that this week is going to be a very good week. Lastly, actually, let's talk about Tesla. Everyone likes talking about Tesla. Tesla looks pretty good in my opinion. I want to see a retest. If we do get a retest right here at 195, I'd be a buyer. I'd be a buyer to at least 226 to 240. I believe that Tesla is going to retest around here, but I do believe Tesla will inevitably fall back down after getting that long term, short term bounce to about 230ish, 240ish. Who knows? But that's what I'm watching for on Tesla. Short term, I do like the upside momentum on Tesla. But that's about it. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Make sure to join my Discord. Link is down below in the description. Follow me on Twitter, on my X. I still haven't posted. I still haven't been posting like that on my X account. Mainly because I haven't gotten that much followers, man. How about this? You guys follow me. If I could get some followers, man, I'll drop some charts. I haven't dropped a single chart. But yeah, I want to drop some charts and give you guys some sauce, but we gotta get some followers, man. Get some followers, and then I'll get you guys right. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed, comment, like, all that good stuff. And it's been your boy Go to Trades, and I'm out. Have a great trading week.